Good evening. Good evening. On this warm southern day, I'm in Atlanta. This is Steve LaBroi with the LaBroi Insurance Group, financial strategist, here tonight with Rich Klaus, chartered financial consultant and author of the books Rich Dentist, Poor Dentist. And we will be discussing tonight how to use the best parts of each of the strategies that a lot of people are familiar with. People are familiar with Dave Ramsey, got a national footprint, Dr. Ace Gorig, and John Commuter, who's been around for years and years and is now really out there talking about get out of debt. We're going to talk to you about their strategies and how they interface with what we do with dentaldebtrelief.com. So looking forward to this talk tonight, and we're going to give the ball to Rich Klaus. Take it away.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Hey, thanks for everybody being on tonight. Give you a little wave here. It's not exactly a warm southern day here in Columbus, Ohio. It's a little chilly and a little overcast, but it's not too unusual for here. But anyway, thanks for everybody again for getting on tonight. This is going to be a very interesting evening, a little different than what we've done before. What we're trying to do tonight is help everybody understand there's a lot of people out there that are really focusing in on debt. And the reason is a really good one, because people are drowning in debt. And so let's kind of get started. As some of you know, Dave Ramsey is basically primarily, he's a national debt management person, but most of the stuff that they do is actually in churches. And the church side of it is he has hired people that work for him to make presentations on debt, and we'll talk about how they do things. Many of you dentists should know, or have maybe have heard of Dr. Ace Gorig, and he is a practicing dentist, but he also has a business of monitoring debt. John Commuter, like Steve said, basically for years and years and years has been an advocate of getting out of debt as quickly as possible. So our strategy, as Steve mentioned, is we want to look at the best parts of the strategies and see how they may fit. Key word there is these are national advisors. There's a difference between a national advisor and Steve and I, who work nationally with clients. We work on a personalized basis with them. They have similar methods to eliminate debt, and we use those same principles to teach our dentists how to get out of debt. So the important piece is they have a lot of things that are really good, but they also have some that can expose you to more risk. And those are every bit as important to understand and know as the strategies themselves. As Steve mentioned, don't forget dentaldebtrelief.com, the website for Rich Dentist, Poor Dentist, has an awful lot of great information out there. It has blogs, it has podcasts, it has these live webinars that are stored out there for YouTube. Just a lot of information that can help your education as you move forward. So just fill in the blanks of what you don't quite get or don't feel like we get enough information on the short webinar. Now, remember, we do this for 30 minutes because we really value your time and we want to get as much information out as we can, but not take up a whole evening. So let's kind of get started here. What's the best way to eliminate debt? There's no best way. There's no only way. You can't expect everyone to have the same strategy. It just doesn't work. The key piece is right here. Everybody has a different motivation. When we look over here at our little house of dollars, some of you that have been on these webinars before know that we have that there. When you don't have your debt in line, you have dollars flying out of your house. And what we're trying to do is help you keep that house full of dollars and not losing them, out the top, out the windows, out the doors. So why don't people have a better feeling or their own really debt plan? Some dentists don't believe they have any extra cash flow, so they won't even try. Well, there's a difference between not having cash flow knowing positively you don't have cash flow, and just thinking you don't have cash flow. One of the strengths that Steve and I have, the area of expertise, is to help people look at their financial situation and help the dentist find dollars so they can have a better debt management plan. We don't charge any fees or anything. The process is free. It's a consultative process where we can help you look to see if we can help you find some extra cash flow. But in many cases, it's just like, oh, that's too big a task, I'm not even going to try. So in the debt thing, they just decide they're not going to try. Some have extra money. Let's say they get that first job or they buy that first practice. Keyword right here is they've really started enjoying their lifestyle. If you enjoy it too much, you're not going to change. It could be a new house. It could be a spouse wanting to spend money that they've not done anything while you were in dental school, and they're motivated to start enjoying themselves because you're doing well. So that enjoyment in getting up to too big of a lifestyle is very, very hard to change. It's hard to go back once you've gone on the other side. We've seen some young dentists, maybe when they go to a practice as an associate or they become a new partner, they're willing to restrict increasing their lifestyle. And they make debt elimination a priority. If you remember from some of our other talks, basically it's hard to make sure you can get yourself out of debt. But discipline is really important. And the dentists that can start with some discipline when they get that first paycheck or their first big increase and they become a partner, it makes all the difference in the world long term in their wealth. Now, there are some who are willing to reduce lifestyle to a minimum. And they're going to strive to get out of debt as quickly as possible. Not very many people are in that boat. Now, some of you listening tonight are probably going, I'm somewhere in between on all of this. And that's probably where you should be, just getting started or just trying to figure out a debt picture, whether you're 30 or whether you're 55 and you have so much equipment debt, practice debt, real estate debt, you just don't know where to turn. You should be somewhere in between these. So you're really not going to know which one you are. That's really where we're here to help. So now here's a quote. You start with $1,000 in an emergency fund and need to pay off debts. No savings, no retirement, no eating out, no shopping for things. You don't do anything you don't absolutely need until you're in the clear, meaning until you're out of debt. Wow. That's a one-size-fits-all approach. And we don't think that's going to fit many for very long. It might when you first start because you really want to get out, but it's a very, very difficult situation to continue on. We always ask, what happens if? Car repair, medical expense, house repairs, reduction in income, or heaven forbid a loss of job. Our belief, you need to have a cash cushion to fall back on. In Dave's strategy, there's no cash cushion. If you have a big expense and you've only got $1,000 in an emergency fund, what do you have to do? Credit card, probably. And you feed the whole person we've been trying to do. So even if it takes 3-4 months or even longer to pay off the debts, if you have a cash cushion to fall back on, you feel a whole heck of a lot better, a lot easier to go to sleep at night. One of the important things, as important as anything else, remember, once you send the money to the banks, the credit card companies, car financing, student loans, equipment company, most of you that are listening know what's next. You can never get it back. Try calling if you've made a couple extra payments on a student loan, the student loan company, and asking them to send you the money back. Doesn't work too well. They kind of think, well, what are you kind of talking about? That doesn't make any sense at all. They're not going to give it back to you. So that's a problem if you don't have the cash cushions. Any good system, not a good system, any good system should have fallback positions. What does that include? It includes cash, but flexibility, options, choices, in case you hit the tough financial bump in the road. Steve and I have both worked with dentists for a long time, other clients for even longer time. Everybody's going to hit a tough financial bump in the road at some point in time. It could be in a practice where it could be a breakdown of equipment. It could be new equipment's needed that you didn't plan for. Anything that's going to disrupt that cash flow and put you fall in a very, very poor position because you don't have anything to bail you out. And you're going back on, as I said, credit card, going back to the bank and begging for money. So Dave Ramsey and we believe that a snowball approach is very important with that. Again, for you, those of you that don't know this, this is basically when you pay a debt off. Let's say a $500 debt's paid off here in May 2019. In June 2019, that $500 is allocated to another debt. So you're cash flow neutral, but you're knocking down the next debt. A lot of people, what happens to that $500? It gets in cash flow, and it gets swallowed up with the little second accounts. We believe the snowball is a must in any efficient debt management plan. We use it nearly for every one of our dentists. The difference in our strategy is when you take that old debt, loans, and pay it off, you're snowballing in our strategy, those payments go right back into your cash value. Right here, I'm going to asterisk this, or star it. They're available again, not gone forever. Well, think about it a second. How big a difference is that? Well, for a lot of people, it can mean the difference between having a real red mark on your credit and being able to be just fine. It's a huge difference because you have access to cash that you can get with a phone call. I just had, not too long ago, a dentist talk to me about he had $100,000 and he wanted to apply it to debts. And I asked him, if you apply it to the XYZ debt, equipment company, bank, and you need the money, can you call the bank again and will they loan you that $100,000 back? And he kind of laughed and he goes, well, no, I'd have to qualify for it again. And I said, what if you really needed it? He goes, it doesn't make any difference. I have to qualify for it again. The difference with ours, you call Steve, Steve said, sure, there's no qualification. You need the $100,000 back, we'll process it and you'll have it in 2 or 3 days. So big difference is maybe understated, depending on what the problem could be. Another one of Dave's strategies is attack debt first before making any retirement plan deposits or invest in any other money. Started into a practice, and one of the first things that they talk to you about is making a deposit to the company's retirement plan. Everybody says that's what the first thing you should do with money. Well, Dave doesn't think that, or doing any other investing. It's all debt management first. To us, again, that's back to one size fits all. Now, if you want to get out of debt faster, Steve and I can agree with not starting any retirement plan, but that's a personal preference. We tell our dentists all the time, there's 2 ways you can make decisions. One on a financial basis and one on a psychological basis. Most financial people think the financial one is the most important, not Steve and I. The psychological one is by far more important because, as you heard me say before, you need to basically be able to lay your head down at night on the pillow, feel comfortable, and all night long. Psychologically, you're going to be a heck of a lot stress-free if you're doing it and feel comfortable about it. Keep that in mind whenever you're making any of those decisions. Dave Ramsey has done a great job of getting a large portion of Americans to address their debt problem. Anytime you can bring something to the forefront and get people talking about it, interested in it, it's extremely important. We just don't think the one size fits all is what our dentists need. You should want, and you surely deserve, a personal plan for your own financial situation. problem is it's tough and it takes discipline to get yourself out of debt. Not everybody's going to take the time to do it, but you need to have, we call it the whys. The whys of you doing something is what will motivate you to continue to do something. If your whys, if you start Dave's plan, $1,000, don't do anything other than just put money to your debt. If you don't have a strong enough why you're doing it, you will not keep it up. So helping you develop the right whys in your financial life, in addition to on this debt management, is extremely, extremely important. The question always is, are you ready? Some of you aren't. Some of you won't be. Some of you will definitely lifestyle. What we always say, you get a 30-minute free consultation, call, whatever you want to call it, with Steve and I. Free is pretty good. As we said, we work with dentists all over the country. We've got an awful lot of experience. Every decision in the world right advantage of our expertise. And call us, email us, and let's get something set up so we can help start in helping you understand a little bit more how things work. So we're here to help you set up your own process. And it's a personal process for you. Okay, now next let's look at Dr. Ace. Practicing dentist, as I said earlier. He has his own wealth and personal freedom strategies that he works with dentists around the country on. Again, around the country, nationally, not necessarily personally. He's very straightforward. Same thing as Dave. Don't fund any retirement plans until your debt's paid off. This is kind of funny, actually. Live like a student until all student loans are paid off. You know, quite honestly, I don't think that's fair to you. It's not fair to a family. If you've gone without through college, you've gone without while you were in dental school, you deserve to be able to spend some money and have some fun. You shouldn't have to live like a student. And you don't have to if you have a personalized debt management plan like we put together for our dentist. You can have a life. And that's really, really important. It's going to help with that psychological piece. Remember, money's gone forever when you use a snowballing, particularly a basic snowball. Ours, just nicknamed it Snowball Plus. What's the plus? You have access to all your snowball payments again. So think of it this way. You pay the bank, you pay the equipment company, you pay the student loans, and I said earlier, you never see the money again. We've paid off equipment. We've paid off other things, the student loans, etc. But now that money's sitting there, you get to use it over and over and over again. I don't think there's much choice of which one makes more sense. Albert Einstein, he who understands interest earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Well, if you understand that we help you with basically having the ability to control your Snowball Plus, what happens here is you're the ones making the money. And hopefully it's a lot more than change down there, and it would be for sure. So the question is pretty simple. Which one would you rather be? The one that puts money away, it's a cash cushion, or the ability to get back out to do something else? All you need is a plan, a roadmap, and the courage. Remember, tough, discipline, same thing, courage to press on to your destination. So if that is basically debt-free, if that's your destination, you know why, you're going to get there. If you don't know the why, it might be a 10 year, maybe 2 years of doing it, but you won't stick with it. That why is so, so important. Okay, Dr. Ace also talks about advisors can cost a lot of money in fees or commissions. Let's think about that a second. When he's also talking, he talks about how useful it is to have a coach to help you in your practice and private life. This is just the week after Bruce Koepka just won the PGA Championship. If any of you watched, his coach was with him every day. He pays his coach a lot of money. The coaches can make a big, big difference in helping you set up your debt management plan, your golf game, your practice. They're worth every penny you pay if you have a good one. If you don't, they're not worth it. So making sure you surround yourself with the correct people, the correct advisors that can help you in that way, they're worth every dollar that you're going to pay to them to help you. And it doesn't take you too long to understand if they're not in your best interest. We help our dentist stay on your plan and strive to reach your destination. We help you with that why. We apply for what we call is the coaching quarterback job, quarterbacking job. Working with advisors, working with someone that's a quarterback. Most dentists make microeconomic decisions from a financial standpoint. Why? Well, they're only looking at one piece at a time. We help our dentists make macroeconomic decisions, which encompasses all facets of the financial life. Well, why is there a difference? Why is there a difference between those two? Most advisors are trained microeconomically. This doesn't mean that they don't have your best interests at heart. Even I aren't trying to say that. But they only focus in one specific area. So if you're talking to a life insurance agent, what's the biggest concern the life insurance agent has? Helping you buy life insurance. Do they care about your 401k? Do they care about what's going on in your practice? No. Their design is to help you make the right purchase on your life insurance. What about a real estate agent? Does he care what you're doing in your life insurance arena? Does he care what you're doing in your 401k? No. He's concerned about the real estate. Again, he has your best interest at heart, but he's only working from the real estate piece. Investment agents and advisors, they're concerned about making you the best, giving you the best advice about a stock, a mutual fund, etc. Because of that focus in one area. It's very important to have a quarterback. As quarterbacks, Steve and I don't require you to move all your accounts, whether they be investment accounts or insurance accounts, to us. But we need to know about them to help you understand and put a whole coordinated plan together, which the microeconomic advisors can't do because they're only looking at one piece. Okay, Dr. Ace and John Muta, interestingly enough, do work together on a few things and have an interesting strategy. Early in the debt management process, Dr. Ace says specifically there are a number of things you should never buy. A lot of things that he says you should never buy. One of them is whole life policies. Well, a lot of people feel that way. There's a lot of different ways you can structure a whole life policy. So the first part of what he's talking about is don't ever buy a whole life policy. Later, he and John talk about an intricate piece to the overall strategy is something they call a private family bank. Many of you that have worked with us and seen other things, we talk about a family bank for all of our dentists. It's the exact same type of family bank as the private family bank that they're talking about. It's another description of what Steve and I call our CAP plans. And for capitalization plans, building wealth, and it's a specially designed whole life policy. The difference is timing. Dr. Ace doesn't want you to do anything until you're totally out of debt, then buy one of these that they say is fabulous to own and can do all kinds of things. Steve and I look at it differently. We look at it as a corner with it to help you get out of debt, to be able to use the same money over and over. So the three of us believe that the characteristics of this financial tool are very important for a good plan. You know, what are they? I already mentioned, cornerstone. There's guarantees. As many of you know, there's not a lot of guarantees out in the financial world today. We think they're very important to have. Provides protection. Protects you from the bank, paying off loans if something were to happen and you pass away, to give your family money, very important. Access to cash values to pay off loans. Obviously, that's our whole talk. Debt. Let's get out of it. Snowballing plus have access to your money again. I can't tell you how critical that is. Cash flow and access to cash is the most important thing going down the line. So you can see there's different ways to attack your debt. All the advisors we talked about have ways to help, and they're there to help you. The problem with the national advisors is they're not personal. They're not flexible enough for what we think our dentist clients need. I'd like to kind of give you an example. Basically, they have a shotgun approach. Let's go back to Bruce Koepka again. Let's say he didn't play well last weekend instead of winning the PGA Championship. He got off the course. Would he go pick up golf magazines to try to have a solution? No, not at all. He would have a rifle approach. It had to be personal. It had to be specific to him. He would have called or been with his coach. The shotgun approach is a national approach. It's a one-size-fits-all. The rifle approach is our approach because it needs to be specific and personal to you and your situation. You deserve a very personal plan. You put a lot of time and effort and money into being in the career you're in. You deserve to have someone that's on your side working very personal for you. Problem we've got now, Steve and I are becoming very, very busy. We can only work with about 5 to 7 new dentists all across the country in a month because of this personal attention that we're giving you. We can't take on 10, 15, 20 new dentists. There's just not enough time. So not to say we can't work with you at some point in time, but it's important for you to get started. We would like to help you as much as we can. One of the reasons why for the people that are on this, we give you the 30-minute free consultation to go over everything and see how it fits for you. So we want to be able to help you, but just keep in mind, that's why we've got phone numbers and email addresses so you can reach out so we can help you get started. Reach out. We're here. Remember, you owe it to yourself, your family, and your practice to get out of debt as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. The banks, they're going to do just fine. They don't need to win on you. You need to win. Because win means dollars for not only you, but your family and your practice. All it takes is some time that you're willing to spend to set up the plan properly, and you're going to be in much, much better shape. Hey, we're starting to run out of time here. I know we got a few questions, so I want to thank you very much for your time tonight. Steve, what questions did you get? Let's see if I can answer them. Still there, Steve? Well, maybe we'll
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I muted so there wouldn't be any background noise. Got a couple questions that came in. One had to do with student loans. Is it a bad idea to try and pay off student loans early with extra payments? I think they're talking about should we snowball those?
Yeah, that's always a good question, and it's the one we get asked a lot. And our feeling is if you have an overall debt management plan, the last thing we're going to recommend doing is sending money out that you lose complete control of forever. We would want to do a more efficient to where you can have the Snowball Plus working on your behalf. So you've got the money and the access to use it again to pay the next one off, but you're in control of the money until you need to use it again.
All right. Number 2, how does the CAP plan help pay my loans but build wealth at the same time?
Well, it really has to do with the Snowballing Plus we're talking about. You're continuing to make deposits. You're loaning against the cash values to pay off the debt, and then you're snowballing all that money right back into the cash values. Your cash values never leave the policy. It's a loan against, it's collateralized, it's a lien. So that money never leaves the policy. So it's continuing to earn interest every day, every month, every year. And as you pay back, just had a dentist the other day working with his accountant, and we looked and they projected out when he was going to need money for equipment and when it was going to be paid back. At age 70, he had over $2 million of cash value that could produce tax-free income. So he had retirement. He had all the equipment that he needed to purchase. So while he was paying for equipment, he was also accumulating money and wealth.
Here's one more. See if we got any more time. What if I'm not in debt and want to pay cash for future purchases? Do I even need a cap plan?
Yeah.
Do I need this plan?
That's always a question. And the best answer to that is, when you go to buy a piece of equipment, if you pay cash, you've lost that money forever. And you are not earning any compound interest on it. When you drain the tank of money, all the compound interest goes away. As most of you know, kind of the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest if it's working for you, not against you. In our cap plans and cash value, you continue to earn compound interest even though you've loaned against that policy to pay or purchase that piece of equipment. Most dentists, when you think about it, know that they're going to continue to need to buy and purchase equipment, upgrades to their office, etc. So they're going to need to use the money. So if you build it up, drain the tank, you're just losing that eighth wonder of the world. If you have it in your cap plan and cash value, you've got that eighth wonder of the world on your side. I got maybe time for one more, Steve. You got to know there was one talking about.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I got one that someone asked, why did Dr. Ace say not to buy whole life and then turn around to say private family bank is important? Well, I think sometimes it's presence, it's shock. He says that because a lot of people don't think you ought to own whole life coverage. But he realizes, along with John Commuta, that it's a very valuable piece, and it can create just what we've been talking about, of using the money over again, tax-free, compound interest on your behalf. That's why we believe in the concept, and we believe that part of the concept ought to be up front for you, not at the back end, because you lose so many years of compound interest by not getting it started, earlier in there. Well, hey, Steve, I think that's all the time we have tonight. Sorry, we maybe ran over a few minutes. Thanks, everybody, for being on the call tonight. We look forward to talking with you in June. We got a real interesting coming up in June that you're really going to like. It's going to show some numbers. And have a good evening. Thanks again. And then we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, Steve. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.